I Smiles with Songbird. You're looking at Jesus Christ, and Govinda Singh is his name this life, in that form, brown. And you look at his wife, D. Michelle Birdsong, Miles Red Songbird, Sherlock Holmes. Okay, so I did on the last video, Eve revealed the curse has been lifted. But I forgot to do this word, to decode the word that I got from here. Roseanne, shocking claim. I wanted to decode the word shocking. So it says shocking, add the G to Yorinda, Gorinda. C, hockey. I, sex for pleasure. C, hockey. Pleasure, enter. Gorinda. Dylan. That's Gorinda's name. Ki, Aki, Aki Alian was an actor, a Chinese Jamaican actor who used to play on Asian villains on television, named my son Sing Birdsong. And one year we didn't have any money for Christmas, and he and his girlfriend came out to Hollis, Queens, where Edwin and I were living. Edwin Birdsong and I were living with our son Sing, and he brought Sing all kind of presents. I think he was a Capricorn. What a nice guy. He told Edwin, he says, your approach to life is wrong. I thought, what a profound statement, that somebody understands somebody's approach to life is wrong, you know, and I didn't even know Edwin's approach to life. I thought, you know, it was just that we loved each other, and we were going to have a happy family, and he was going to have a good career, and I was going to help him in any way I could. You know, that's what I thought. Okay, I was naive. Okay. Projection. Aton. Adam is making atonements. Michael Bublé was atom. And this is Ki, Eve, energy. I, pleasure. Yes, I am pleasure, the pleasure principle, Eve. Okay, let's move right along. What is this? I did all that. Let's go here. No, this is what I did. Let's go here. Okay. I have been running around. Is this it? Yeah, I'll do this. Baba G. Govinda Singh, Jesus Christ. Guru, IND is the 8th Avenue train, trained. E for energy, R for her. Guru, trained, energy, her. Guru trained her energy, because she was wild. Okay, she being Eve. Because she had been so mistreated. She was in a frenzy. She couldn't relax. She couldn't trust anyone. Everybody she trusted hurt her. Okay, so H for her. No, H for heaven. What do we got here? Her, heaven, energy. Okay, she's a pleasure principle, and heaven is pleasure, and so she's the heaven energy. Follow? I've been running around Jaws in a frenzy, in a feeding frenzy. How will I eat if I lose my job? Will I starve if I incur the wrath of God? Charan Singh said, he gives us the food and he gives us the appetite to eat the food. Gorinda is training me, her, to be his Jesus Christ #1 wife, and Atom's only wife. Without spite, without caring to fight, without feeling insecure, subject to feel fright, I'm his subject. He's my king. Song. When a man loves a woman, he can't think about nothing else. That's sung by Michael Bolton. It's a projection of Jesus Christ. Gurinder Singh. Insert. Where's the insert? I got an insert here. See if I can find it. See, I have about 3 different trains running at the same time. So, I'm Einstein. So that's why I sometimes lose track of one of my tracks. Okay, I don't see the insert, so let me just go in here. Dr. Shaw. This was the doctor I went to today, the heart doctor. Dr. Shaw said he wasn't being rude to me. I accused him of being rude because he was. He's being serious, he said. The heart is an important organ. You can't live without a heart. Wrong again, Dr. Dum Dum. You're no fun. When I was at my mother's house in Clarksville, Tennessee, another insert. I know what I was going to say. Gurinder Singh said, I was in bed and I heard a voice say, I'm going to stop your heart. And I knew it was God. I'd never heard God's voice before, but I knew that was God. So I relaxed. And then a second later, I had second thoughts. And I jumped out of bed in a panic, in a frenzy, and got the Bible. And whatever I saw in the Bible scared me even more. So I ran away to lower consciousness, which is called crazy. I went crazy, they call it, when you go to lower consciousness. Okay, so that's what happened. Now, Gurinder Singh told me about years later that he stopped my heart because he knew in 7 years Edwin Birdsong, who would be my husband, was going to break it. And he didn't want it broken. So he stopped it because he's training me to be his wife, his number 1 wife. Right now he has a harem of 2 million people, but he has chosen me to be his number 1 wife from the 2 million plus people. And I'm honored, not just because he chose me from 2 million people, but because I love him and he loves me. I'm amazed. I'm thrilled. Every time I see him, I feel thrilled. I did a video for StoryCorps where they did an interview of me after I had seen Gurinder Singh in Petaluma, California. And I'm gushing all over the place because I was still under the spell of his magnetism, I guess you'd call it, And you should hear the video. It's really. I would put it on YouTube, but somebody stole it. But it's in the Library of Congress, and it's also in the Smithsonian. Okay. So Gurinder proved to me that I didn't have a heart. Let's see, did I write that? Let me just read what I wrote. Men have given up on being able to lead their wives. Men are natural leaders, I find. Wives are wild and out of control. Say what you need to say. That's a song. I love that song. Say what you need to say. Say what you need to say. It's about mental illness. And I say what you need to say. Then shut up talking and start listening. Okay, women just keep talking. They don't stop and listen. Because they're out of control. They can't control their states. Tony Robbins talks about how important it is to control your states. It has to do with whether or not you're successful in life. Talk and Share is a therapy that teaches you to control your states. So when I went to the land of spirituality, India, I saw Jesus Christ, and I knew he could save me from myself, from my mind. I thought I was my mind. Okay, mind. Mentality trained. Okay, this is where the world trains your mind to believe certain things. That you need a heart to live. That unless you're under 40 or so, you can't have a baby. And unless he puts his stick in your hole, you can't have a baby. He's not even supposed to do that. He's supposed to take the tip, his head, and flick your clit. That's the way you're supposed to have sex. These people don't even know how to have sex. The whole world doesn't even know how they're supposed to have sex. They think he's supposed to stick his dick in Eden. That's an exit. The vagina is an exit. It's an exit for urine, even though it says urine. It's supposed to be you're out. And it's an exit for the baby to come out. You know, I do a whole video. I mean, I have in my writing somewhere the formula, how I arrived at that realization that these men are not supposed to be sticking sticks in your hole. Okay, so what is that? Mentality trained by Catholic Church homosexuals. But this is the way you think is because of the training by these forces. Catholic Church homosexuals, the Jesuits in particular, by Hollywood homosexuals, by money-lending Antichrist Jews doing usury. They did usurp the identity of black people. Black people are the Jews that killed Christ. But these people call themselves Jews now, want to use what the Bible says, that they're the chosen people. They deserve the land of Israel and all that. You see how they usurped because the black people were under a curse for killing Christ. Charging so much, usury means charging so much interest, the person can never pay off the debt. Then the person defaults. Default. Daughter, Dr. Einstein's fault, they say. The daughter and Dr. Einstein are the same person. Daughter of the son is Dr. Einstein. They're just in different bodies. Actually, they're in the same body, but he's a girl. He's Eve and Mary and Mile Red Songbird and Evangeline. Okay. So, because you didn't do what you ought, pay attention to details, ask questions, so you blame the daughter, Dr. Einstein, say it's their fault. Before the Jews selling you holy grails make a sale, you ought to pay attention to details and ask questions. Sell you down the river. Lips quiver, cry me a river, 'cause I cried a river over you, giver more than you give. This is sung by Michael Bublé, who's Atom. Being sarcastic, they say Atom gave up one of his ribs. What a fib, ad lib, 'cause they hadn't a clue about what in hell is true. See, we're in hell. We're at the ninth circle of hell, where usury and sodomy prevail. So sodomy was the first sin. So the original sin was sodomy. So he gave an arm and a leg, pledged his allegiance to the enemy, because he was too full of dope, playing with smoke and mirrors. How did Jesus Christ train his wife? After the ape Adam had stomped her into the ground, had treated her so bad she wore a permanent frown. After she'd been blamed for losing paradise, and people were trying to snuff her, every time she came back to life, she sang, "You run for my love when I won't give it up. You run the other way when I say take it." Okay, it's a teasing game. "We're going to keep you safe forever now," sings Adam to Eve. That's Michael Bublé sings out. The name of the song is Forever Now. "We're going to keep you safe," he says. Jesus Christ, Gorinda Singh, Leo the Lion King, don't just growl. He, in his spiritual form, got inside Mary to guide her, to keep quiet until he kept quiet until one night he tested her. He said in her head, I'm going to stop your heart. She recognized the voice as the voice of God, though she's never heard God's voice before. At first she lay still, then her mind second thoughts. Right now I'm doing talk and share with you. Her mind second thoughts got scared, filled with doubt. She thought like the heart doctor, Dr. Shaw, S-H-A-H, and then I say George Bernard Shaw lives here at St. Francis of Assisi Residence 3. His name is Dave. I haven't seen him in a few days. Wonder is he somewhere in somebody's grave. After God stopped my heart, I bolted out of bed. Is John Bolton really trying to get somebody dead by starting another war for Israel? Not real. Bad deals, Israel. Gorinda Singh, a new thought. Gorinda Singh, Jesus Christ, has the love, trust, and utter devotion of his wife because he sacrificed his life and moved into her house behind the pineal gland. The house is a body. My lower back is killing me. The baby's in the front. Jesus knew he needed to show Mary that she needn't worry about her heart, something she started doing this life at 5 years old. I said to myself, if this is beating inside me, it can stop beating inside me, and then I die? Is that what it is? And so I started to worry. I was 5 years old. Because we didn't have conversations in our home. It's so essential that you talk to your children so you can dispel the myths that their mind gives them. Okay, so start it, decode it. Saint Art Ed. Ed. See, S-T for Saint, A-R-T for Art, E-D for Ed. Saint Art Ed. What it is. Album. What it is album. She poured her heart in verse on, and the heart says, he art. Okay, it's Edwin's art. The person with Edwin Birdsong, who was Bach, and he was also over in Berlin. He art was a way it was spun. You know, there's got a spin on things they talk about. She got no credit. Instead of Edwin admitting he was indebted, he let himself be credited with the master's piece. Okay, piece decoded. Presenting I-sex, which is pleasure. Edwin. See Eve's brain. Idea of gain. Okay, you got that? Presented pleasure. Edwin, see Eve's brain, an idea of gain. Edwin saw what I thought was important. It's like, I'm going to worship who the king worships. So I was his queen. So he worshipped who I worshipped. I admired Capricorns, and I admired musicians. So he started two-timing me with a Capricorn chick musician. I admired Stevie Wonder so much that the attorney took him on as a client and worked with him for the next 40 years, making deals, making him super rich. Edwin overheard me praise Steve to Vagoda. That was the attorney's name. He had been my husband in a past life. So Edwin, when Steve heard our album, What It Is, and became enamored with it, in love with it, Edwin moved into Steve's life, and Steve welcomed him into his life because Steve thought, this man has created this masterpiece. He doesn't understand that it was I who had a great deal to do with the album. Edwin understood. He told me on the phone one day, He said, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I am. You know, like David Foster. He actually credits his wife with helping him make it to L.A. Okay, so a Capricorn chick who could play the guitar, and Stevie Wonder being something better than their children and her. She thought Edwin broke her beating heart. But Jesus Gorinda had stopped it when he said he was going to stop it. See, she didn't know that because he was so fast. She thought she had jumped out of bed before he stopped her heart. But anyway, when Edwin betrayed her 7 years hence, she wouldn't really be damaged. That's why he stopped her heart. Okay, he said it'll start again when she has the babies. Although I have 4 other babies, it's a different story. But after having been beaten, raped, insulted, snubbed, she tried to snuff out the family with a car. She'd been Henry Ford, so she thought she could do some deadly altercation in what she'd created, the car nation. But Jesus Christ Gorinda Singh from inside her, spiritually, gave the order to her brain to remove her foot from the gas pedal and loosen her grip on the steering wheel, so she couldn't, even with the extra strength her adrenaline rush was giving her, she couldn't smash and crash her family into the side of the Midtown Tunnel. She just thought Edwin had overpowered Mildred. It was Jesus Christ Gorinda Singh making sure his wife didn't make the whole family dead that night. It wasn't until many years later she realized she lived without a heartbeat. Hear that, Dr. Shaw? And she realized she was right when she trusted Jesus Christ and gave him her life. Little did she know he pulled her to him from within her own skin. Little did she know God was her life-saving friend. She was so bored in Clarksville, Tennessee, but she loved her mother and wanted to stay near her. Her mother was her female god. Her other father, Brother Wright, was her male god. Song, nearer my God to thee. God, go daughter, good daughter. Check out the neighborhood, daughter. Love one another right now. Song by the Youngbloods, called Get Together at the Slaughter Player channel. Okay, so the point about her being bored, her mother, who she worshipped, was actually Baba Jamal Singh, a saint, Jesus Christ's conscience. So she knew her mother was a saint, but she didn't know the saint's name, and she didn't even know why she knew. Probably Gorinda put that in her head, telling her the truth. She knew Brother Wright and his wife Andonia were saints too. I guess Gorinda Singh told her that as well. Because he can put thoughts in her head, and she doesn't know that he's putting them in her head. She thinks she's the generator of the thoughts, you see. But that's how he trained her. And he trained her, and they're going to get married. He married her in North Carolina secretly. She didn't realize he was marrying her and impregnating her. Now he's going to marry her at St. John, the Cathedral Church of St. John the Baptist, and in the presence of everyone, because she's ready. He has lived, could you imagine living in somebody for 60 years? He lived in her, guiding her out of trouble when she tried to kill herself. He made sure she got a doctor to pump her stomach, and he's just been guiding her and saving her all that time. That's incredible love. I'm going to write about that. I'm going to write a musical about that kind of love, because you don't see that love anywhere ever. Okay, this is Mile Red Songbird in New York City. So long.